Hello, welcome home to Eden. So here I am on the Bridge of Flowers that has now reopened in Shelburne Falls, and I'm going to read to you from my book, Eve's Eden, Her Pillars of Existence by Soeva Sophia, True Love Dancers, no, True Love Stories of a Goddess Dancer. Well, I changed my pen name to Soeva Sophia for a lot of reasons, and one of them is just that Eve is a hard legacy to carry all the time because misogyny, patriarchy, it all comes up with the name in the whole way they frame Eve. But Sophia is an ancient goddess who, in the goddess traditions, is known to have given birth to Eve, her first daughter. And together, the two of them are missing something wondrous that is not of them, or just offers them the polarity of them. Of course, Adam is of them. So together they create him, and this beautiful creation becomes their delight to have a helper in all the things they wish to do that they find a little hard to do without the masculine. So here it is. I'm going to start. I read to you the introduction, which is a long introduction yesterday, and today we're gonna go right into sorry, boob shot. Whoops. To part one, Eve of Joyous Beingness. So here's a drawing that I did. The whole book is full of my drawings as well. And basically each section, each goddess in this story starts with an essay about the goddess, and then we go to true stories that I have lived in which the goddess contacted me and moved through me or to me, and I learned of her magic. Eve and Joyous Beingness, part one. And don't worry, as soon as we get through the little essay here, we'll be into the stories. And the stories are what I really want you to hear. Chapter 1, Eve. The most important, subversive thing to understand about Eve is that pleasure is her path. And she feels. So if you can't feel and are mainly living as numb, that's a sign that you haven't been feeding the feminine side of yourself for a long time. She's starving, and she is sensual too. She's in touch with your carnal body, so that includes exercise, outdoor time, rest, and luscious food for your heart, body, and soul. She feels all emotions deeply, not just positive ones, but joy is her essence at the center of any emotion. Inexplicable joy. And add to this the taboo, supposedly shallow fact that Eve just wants to have fun. But it's not shallow at all when you remember that loving kindness is the most fun. And according to Jesus and many male prophets, this loving kindness is the most radical act. That is, if you are primarily a masculine essence person, of course, emulating what the feminine already is. LOL. And real fun also requires exploration, adventure, growth, wisdom, and skill gained, and sensual delights shared with loved ones all along the way. But the reason pleasure is as her path is so scary to men of business, clergy, and domination is that if you give this same path to the uninitiated Adam, who is not integrated with his own feminine half of self, he will go too far and become debauched. It's just that decadent luxury is actually not the best path for him. He can take diversions onto her path, but he needs a little renunciation and discipline and hardship to feel his masculinity and empowerment. But she can handle pleasure as her path. She in you is anchored in fun no matter what. For her, joy and pleasure is the only path that will allow her to ripen her full cornucopia. I know, how dare I be so gender binary didactic, but remember, I'm talking about Adam and Eve within you as your twin halves and mirrored in the world. We begin with Eve because Eve develops We begin with Eve because Eve helps us navigate the storm of misogyny. Even if you are a man being told not to want to let go of agenda and just be, not to feel so much, not to listen to women and be influenced, not be colorful, earth magic attuned, sensitive, expressive, goofy, or spiritually open, or be such a pussy, embracing your inner Eve will help you be all of those things. And if you are a woman in a divorce, making it through the eye of the needle, leaving behind a tyrannical religious cult, job, or husband, and threading yourself delicately, even if at first secretly, onto self-love's garment, Eve gives us permission to get involved with life. No longer just spectators to men's decisions and values, Eve will impel you to voyage into the bigger story of all that you are. I got lost. Eve will impel you to voyage into the bigger story of all that you love and share your voice and values. There we go, okay. Since pleasure is Eve's path, love, sexuality, and spirituality are one continuum, as exploration is her nature. In her sensuality, weaving with incendiary intellect and emotional intelligence, she embodies her full beingness. Don't even think you have to sell yourself short. Feel into this with me. Don't worry, the essay's almost over. We'll get to Once Upon a Time really soon. But the essays do have an importance, because they will anchor you. When we enter a lot of magic in this story, it's good to be anchored in, why am I telling you of magic that could make you feel unmoored? Why am I bringing you into miraculous dimensions of belief and experience if I'm not going to anchor you in how to be protected in that journey and how to find more of yourself instead of getting lost in some haunted realm of the bardo? It's a big, vast world, the magic world of the magic feminine. Eve's story is a stolen and forgotten story. Since pleasure is Eve's path, rats. sorry. Okay, mama. Okay, Eve's story is a stolen and forgotten story. So let's go back to the beginning, to first love, the garden, the tree, the apple, the snake, and sex. The famous story of Eve and Adam is missing many parts in those holy scriptures. As far as we women can tell, the more wholesome mythological guidance may have been taken out of that Bible to more easily attempt to control and enrage women and mislead the men. The real soul story, as my mother untold it to me, I remember as the place I come from. It is her paradise. And the real story is that heaven on earth was still going on up until only a few thousand years ago. In fact, we beautiful humans lived in harmony with each other and all of nature as hunters and gatherers, shamanically guided for millions of years before God threw us out of Eden. And ever since, we've been off kilter, sailing into dementia and eventually amnesia. But in the end, it wasn't goddess or God who actually threw us descendants of Eve and Adam out. It was just recently businessmen with bottomless greed, some twisted sex-addicted thugs dressed up as clergymen and vain snobby aristocrats. who wanted female slaves and strong, beautiful brown slaves and men as pawns for their nefarious takeover, and they succeeded wildly until just now. We have all woken up together in our collective nightmare. Here we are at the brink of our planetary human collapse. But love, she is returning. She is dawning on us as our savior from within. Once upon a time, here we go into the stories. The first chapter is called You Cannot Tame a Zebra. It's chapter 2. Did you know the reason we never see people riding zebras? Even the circus has to paint a white horse with black stripes. It's because you cannot tame them. They break down barns, buck people silly, jump impossibly high fences, open latches, band together and gang up on intruders and kick them, and basically fart in your face. They are not fun or obedient. They find ingenious ways to trick you, like acting docile, letting you get on them, then dashing pell-mell to the river and swimming wildly to drown you. I admire zebras. Whenever I get depressed about all the ways I don't fit in, I say to myself, that's because you are a zebra. On one of my most memorable zebra days, I'm about 5 years old. I'm wearing my fuzzy zebra pajamas under my Spanish-style full-circle multicolored skirt. I'm also wearing a brightly ornate woolen Mexico poncho with tassels and a hood. I'm swinging my little burning scratched legs as I sit on a park bench of wrought iron rose vines. I look down at my red sneakers. They look festive. I wonder when they're going to make me start dancing again, like in the fairy tale of the red shoes in which the little girl dances all over the city and can't stop till they cut off her feet. Why didn't they just take off her shoes, I wonder? I know how to take off my shoes. I even tie my own laces. I admire the redness of the scratches all over my tan arms. It's just I was too determined to cuddle, I say to them. Our poor cat was getting more and more fearful of my aggressive adoration of her. I look at my scratches and admire how the golden fur of my arms is standing up between the dotted red scab marks. Zebras can become cats when you start to dance. I'm mesmerized by goosebumps on my scratched golden furry arms, my gold fur spikes straight upwards. Do you need to sit here? Do you need to sit here?
Don't know.
Okay, all right, sure. Oh, thank you. Love your smile.
Oh.
My gold fur spikes straight upwards and the spikes sparkle yellow in the sun. Goosebumps of my little arms make my arm hair stand at attention in San Francisco wind. My dirty blonde hair mop blows in tangled wisps across my pollen-kissed cheeks. Behind my fancy bench perch expands the Japanese garden of Golden Gate Park. I see a palace on the lawn, resembling a white Taj Mahal. It may have even been a greenhouse for the well-coiffed gardens. Oh my God, I keep giving you boob shots. Sorry. Okay, I gotta find a better angle. My God. Well, apologies, but you know, the Divine Mother, she's got bazongas. It looks like a tiny glass Taj Mahal. It may have been the greenhouse for the well-coiffed gardens. The small regal glass palace sits grandly amidst the manicured trails and green lawns. There are pathways curving and little arched bridges that decorate small ponds with lotuses blooming. I meander over and venture to climb upon one of the pretty show bridges. On the bridge, I sit down and dangle my legs over the water. I enter my familiar trance as I look at the sky, reflections on the pond waters amidst the lily pads and lotuses. Once again, I'm remembering the water lily Monet paintings I used to live inside of. Eve, my mother calls to me, come get your sandwich. They're taking a break now. I come zebra galloping. Yum, peanut butter and jelly is so perfect. I wistfully hum to myself as a crowd gathers to listen to my mother and her flutist friend. They are situated in the square just outside the De Young Museum. They begin a rigorous rendition of their favorite Bach duet as I munch my sandwich. The flutist Dean is artfully gay. He's very tall, almost macabre in demeanor, pale skin, jet black dyed hair, and wearing all black, black pants, black suit coat, black shirt, black tie, black shoes, black socks, even one black onyx earring set in gold. He always dresses this way. After the concert, they gather up the cash that is piled up abundantly in the red velvet of the violin case. I kneel and run my fingers over the silky red velvet impression of a violin. As they divide their earnings, they put the instruments into the secret velvet gloves of the cases. "Come on, darling, let's go for a walk on the pier back home," says my mother cheerfully. We all squeeze into the front seat of my mother's blue truck, which now has a tipsy, heavy wooden cabin built onto the back of it. The truck can barely handle the weight of the cabin she's just paid to have added on. So we have to drive really slow across the Bay Bridge. This creates a lot of traffic behind us and honking and passing, but I can see the bay sparkling and the islands pass me real slow. There is Angel Island on one side, and next Alcatraz, the prisoner island, Mama said. We creak along as the truck is slowly braking, but it lasts another 2 weeks before seizing up completely just beyond our driveway and accumulating daily parking tickets. Apparently the sign on it, "Broken, needs parts, in process, can't move," does not dissuade the parking meter lady. Hundreds of tickets accumulate. All right, so there you go. That's the beginning of the book. I will read you a little bit more, but I feel like I'm taking up spots that people need to sit on right now. So I'll read you a little bit more later. Your bedtime story. Once again, this is Eve's Eden, Her Pillars of Existence by Soeva Sophia, my pen name. And you can get this book on Amazon. All right, much love, darling. And I really do need you to buy it and give me reviews, because those 5-star reviews, hopefully, well, they will change my life so I can write more for you. Okay, here we go.